Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Mark Waid's Daredevil, and we pick up with Volume 5. Now, when it comes to Volume 5, it does pick up where, of course, Volume 4 left off at. Now, remember, when it comes to Matt Murdock, he's no longer part of Nelson and Murdock Attorneys at Law, and the reason why? Because in the last volume, Foggy believed that Matt was going crazy because in Mark Waid's run, Matt is trying his best to be more positive. But on top of that, when it came to the dead body of Matt's father, Jack Murdock, well, somebody had undug the dead body and put that dead body in Matt's desk. And so when Foggy was kind of snooping around Matt's office, he found the dead body. And he believed that Matt was the one who had undug the dead body of Jack and put the body of Jack in his own desk. Unfortunately, it was not true. But for Foggy, he's kind of like, no, you've been too positive, and on top of that, your dad's dead bodies in our office is not okay. Now, at the end of Volume 4, we found out that Matt was not going crazy. That matter of fact, it was another bad guy known as Coyote that was playing mind games on both Foggy and Matt. But once Matt was able to prove that he was innocent, he still walked out because he felt like, as Foggy being his best friend, he should know Matt better than that. But the problem was, Foggy was just jumping to conclusions. But we come to find out there is an actual good reason why he was doing that in this volume right here. But first, we have to pick up with Matt Murdock fighting against Spider-Man. And the reason why I'm saying that, because when it comes to Matt Murdock, we currently see him just minding his business out in the streets, but at the same time having a hard time buying different things. The reason why? He's broke. And the reason why? Because he no longer works with Foggy Nelson. And so with no job means he has no money. But while he's out in the streets minding his business, well, that is the moment he is attacked by, well, Spider-Man. Now, this is actually the superior Spider-Man, because at this point in Marvel Comics and Dan Slott's run, when it came to Doc Ock, he has switched bodies with Peter Parker. And so currently, when it comes to Peter's body, well, it's Doc Ock's mind in there, not Peter Parker's. And so with that being said, it's Doc Ock trying to be a good hero. Now, the reason why he's coming after Spider-Man is because of Kirsten McDuffin. When it comes to Kirsten McDuffin, she was the new DA in New York, who was also very close to Matt Murdock. What I mean by that is she knew that he was Daredevil, because around this point in Marvel Comics, the entire world knew that Matt Murdock was Daredevil, but it was him trying to play it off like, no, it was a huge lie, even though it's the actual truth. But on top of that, though, these two characters began to date each other. Now, in our last volume, Foggy told Kirsten that Matt Murdock was going crazy. Now, again, he believed that Matt was going crazy, but the thing was, with her being a DA, she had no choice but to report that because, one, he is a lawyer, but two, he's also a vigilante. And you are talking about the idea of somebody out there who's going crazy, who could do harm to other people. And so she had no choice but to report that. Now, when it came to her co-workers, they were kind of like, dude, we don't take you serious at all. And they kind of ignore her for another reason. But at the end of Volume 4, she ran over to Spider-Man. And the reason why? Because she still believed that Matt Murdock was crazy. And so she told Spidey, hey, your friend Daredevil is crazy right now. I need you to handle that. And so this is Superior Spider-Man coming after Matt Murdock to basically take him down. And so while you have Spider-Man trying to chase down Daredevil, well, that is the moment where you have Stiltman appear. Now, when it comes to Stiltman, he's one of those D-list characters from the early days of Daredevil comics that just randomly pops up to kind of help move the story along, like right now, because when it comes to Stiltman, he is going to be used as a way to make our two heroes work together to stop him, because apparently he got an upgrade. That upgrade is that he's now currently using Doc Ock tech. And so with him using Doc Ock tech, he's kind of a better fighter, a tad bit stronger. Either way, at the end of this section, you do have our two heroes being able to actually stop him. Now, once they're able to put him away, you have Matt Murdock and Doc Ock in Peter's body kind of agree that everything is a-okay, that Spider-Man does not need to come after Matt at all. Now, while you have the two characters talking to each other, Matt realized that when it comes to Peter, he's kind of talking weird. Now, we know why, because it's Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body. But for Matt, he has no idea. And so he leaves but wonders what in the world could possibly be going on with Peter Parker. Now, you do have Matt Murdock go back over to Foggy, and the reason why? To make up. He's kind of like, listen, even though you did assume that I was going crazy, I realized, one, I need money, but two, you're my best friend, and people always make mistakes. And so it's the two characters just coming back together. Now, this is also Foggy saying, yeah, you know what? Even though you did apologize, I owe you an apology as well, because I was truly not fair, which is correct. But you have Foggy say, the reason why I kind of acted the way I did, because I saw how much courage you had, so much motivation you had to overcome all the different things that you were currently going through. And the thing is, I need that for myself. And so that's when Matt realized that Foggy is hiding something. And you have Foggy say, the reason why I want your courage is so that I am able to overcome my current problem. Matt, I have cancer. And you're kind of like, yo, Foggy Nelson might die. And this is a huge thing for Matt Murdock. Now, the next chapter at first make it seem like we're about to jump into a flashback. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to Matt Murdock, we already know his origin story. We already know that in the past, he was trying to save an old man who was crossing the street. Unfortunately, when he tried to do that, the truck still hit him, but on top of that, the chemicals hit the eyes of Matt Murdock. And those chemicals led into Matt becoming blind, but also enhancing his other senses. And so at first, it looks like we're seeing Matt Murdock doing that all over again. To only come find out, this is not Matt Murdock who's currently trying to save an old man. It's some random person. But we kind of find out this is some kind of experiment, that somebody is reliving the biggest moment in Matt's life over and over again with the same chemicals that made him become Daredevil, but then using the chemicals on prisoners. And so the prisoners are pretending to be Matt as they try to save an old man from getting hit by a truck, to only end up getting hit with chemicals, to figure out if the same chemicals could possibly work on these people as well. But then we jump over to Matt and Foggy. Now, when we do, it's currently the two characters swinging together throughout the city. And the reason why? Because Foggy wants to see what it's like to be Daredevil. And what I mean by that is, what it's like to be able to swing around town like Matt does as Daredevil. And so you have Matt currently carrying Foggy around Hell's Kitchen to kind of show him, this is how I go around town, just like this. Look at the views that I unfortunately cannot see for myself. Either way, once you have the two characters being able to bond with one another, you kind of have this section really shows that this is a huge deal. I mean, yes, it is. It's cancer, but it's kind of like, okay, this is not going to be one of those, oh, surprise, he does not have cancer comic book tropes. It's really more of, no, he has cancer and he is about to go down a very serious road. Even with Matt by his side, it's still a scary thing to do. Now, with all that being said, at this point of the storyline, it's not for sure. Now, the thing is, the doctors earlier ran some tests and they believed it could be cancer. I'm just telling you, it's going to be cancer. Now, with all that being said, it's Foggy asking Matt, can you be there for me the next morning for my appointment? Now, Matt says yes, but unfortunately, he has to leave Foggy. And the reason why? Because he hears a lot of noise going on in his city. And we come to find out the noise that Matt Murdock heard earlier was actually the people who were part of that experiment earlier. The ones who were reliving Matt Murdock's biggest moment. And so these folks are blind, yes, but they have enhanced senses. They are literally just like Matt Murdock. Now, with all that being said, you have these guys right now just wreaking havoc across the city. And so it's Matt Murdock currently trying his best to take them down. Now, when it comes to these new people with their newfound powers, they were able to adapt very quickly. Now, when I say adapt, I don't mean like they have mastered the idea of their enhanced senses. I mean more of that they kind of learn how to use it, but not to its full potential. Not like Matt Murdock, because this man has been Daredevil for so long, for so many years, that he has mastered his enhanced senses. But these new people, there's still room for them to learn. And so Matt Murdock is currently trying his best to take them all down. Now, here's the thing, because when he left Foggy, he told Foggy, "I will be there for your doctor appointment in the morning." And so this fight is going on throughout the entire night. And so Matt has to get there over to the doctor's office in time for Foggy's appointment. And so it does look like at first that he might miss it. But luckily for Matt, he was able to take all these guys down. And even though he wants to figure out who in the world did this to these people, he has to go to his best friend's doctor appointment. Now, once you have Matt arrive at the doctor appointment, it's a great moment at first. It's all like Matt is being there for his best friend. Yes, I love this a lot. But unfortunately, that is the moment where the doctors come in. And when it comes to the doctors, they tell Matt and Foggy, "Hey, yeah, you have cancer, my friend." Now, getting into the next chapter, we pick up with a mysterious character. What I mean by that is, this is a character who has been behind everything currently going on with Daredevil ever since Mark Waid's Volume 1 up to this point right here. And apparently this person is currently kept in some kind of cage for unknown reasons. But he is talking to a female about the idea of sooner or later being able to finally finish his plans and to get rid of Daredevil once and for all. But getting back over to Matt and Foggy, we do pick up with Matt really showing us how concerned he is for his best friend. Now, in reality, we could say that Matt looks at Foggy as a brother rather than a friend. Now, with that being said, though, you have Matt just showing us he's really concerned about the idea that Foggy could die thanks to this cancer. Now, you have Foggy currently at the hospital and they're running more tests on him, but you have Foggy say, "Listen, Matt, I know you want to go out there and be Daredevil. It's a huge part of your life." But you have Matt trying to tell Foggy, "No, you need me here." And you have Foggy tell Matt, "No, go out. If you can't be Daredevil, at least go talk to Kirsten, because you have to tell her that you, one, were not going crazy, but two, you still want to be with her." And for Matt, that's right. He wants to be with Kirsten. And so it's him saying, "Fine, Foggy, I'll go see Kirsten and see if I'm able to win her back over." And so when he does go see Kirsten, she's not really down with the idea of dating Daredevil. Now, when he does meet up with her, she does express that Foggy was able to explain that he kind of did overreact, not kind of, I mean a whole lot of overreacting, but once he was able to tell Kirsten that he did overreact and that Matt was not going crazy, it kind of gave her a wake-up call. And what I mean by that is she hated the idea of being known as Daredevil's girlfriend, because with her being known that, it kind of hurt her chances of getting farther in her career. And so she felt like it was probably best for her to move away from dating Matt Murdock. Now, at first, it seemed like she was concerned about the idea that different bad guys might come after her, but that's not really her concern. Like I said, It's the whole idea that she's known as in her workplace as the girlfriend of Matt Murdock. Matter of fact, her co-workers made fun of her in the last volume. And so she tells Matt, no, we cannot get back together. I'm happy to hear that you were not going crazy and doing crazy things, but at the same time, we cannot be together. Now, we do see Matt Murdock call up Hank Pym, and the reason why? Because Hank is currently studying the chemicals that gave Matt Murdock his powers, but also those guys we saw earlier who has similar powers to Daredevil. Now, with that being said, the reason why Hank Pym is kind of studying the material that made the actual chemical is to hopefully figure out who in the right mind was trying to make a whole entire program to relive the biggest moment of Matt Murdock's life. Now, while you have Hank Pym studying the chemical, he didn't ask Matt, how is Foggy doing? And this is where we kind of find out they do realize that Foggy has cancer, but unfortunately, they're unable to figure out where the cancer is truly at. And so you have Hank say, I think I have an idea where the cancer could be at. This is where we kind of find out that Hank Pym was able to tell Matt Murdock, most likely Foggy has a bone tumor. And just like that, the doctor comes in and says, yeah, he was right. He has a bone tumor. Now, here's the thing. Foggy has a 10% chance of surviving this actual treatment, of being able to beat this cancer. But either way, you have Foggy down with trying to fight this cancer and Matt being there for his best friend. Now, when it comes to Matt Murdock, he does go back over to his office building. Now, once he does, he goes in his office, he sits down, tries to relax and tackle some work he has to get done. Except that is the moment where you do have his assistant walk in. And she says, hey boss, you got a huge package that you need to open. Except when he does walk into the room, he realized that package is full of wild dogs. Here's the catch. These dogs went through the same program those guys earlier did when it came to recreating someone that has similar powers to Daredevil. And so these dogs are technically like Matt Murdock. They're blind, but they have enhanced senses and also dog senses as well. So these these dogs are technically a very tough opponent for Matt Murdock. And so we do get a few more pages of Matt trying his best to handle these dogs. Now, once he's able to do that, he realized somebody is most likely coming after him, but also could be using Foggy as well. Somebody who's close to Matt and give them cancer. And so this is Matt just wanting to figure out, is there a clue that could technically help him realize who could be coming after him? But then you have Matt go ahead and go back over to the hospital to check up on Foggy. Now, when he does that, someone else walks into the room and they claim they know who is coming after Matt Murdock. And technically, he can take Matt over to where their secret base is actually at. And so this guy could hopefully help Matt figure out who in the world is trying to get revenge against him. Now, when it comes to our mysterious guy here who just appeared out of nowhere, he does tell Matt Murdock that he was grabbed alongside with other people to be part of that experiment that would give people the same abilities as Matt Murdock. The only difference is that he was able to get away before any kind of experiments were done on him. And so unlike the others who were grabbed, he's not blind. And so he remembers where he escaped from. And so this is him coming to Matt to hopefully have Matt become Daredevil and shut down the entire place before those people come back and grab him again. Now, Matt agrees, but at the same time, he's very concerned about this young man. Either way, the young man was able to take Matt over to the building that he had escaped from. The problem is, though, when it comes to this young man, the only reason why he was able to escape because he was a pawn for them. They knew that he would run over to Daredevil and bring Matt over to this building. And so right after he does that, he dies. There was a pacemaker in his heart, and that pacemaker shut down and his heart died. And so this innocent man did his job for this evil group that we have no idea who they are to bring Matt over here to this building. Now here's the problem, because as soon as Matt gets inside the building, well, he is confronted by a new character, and that character would be Iari. Now when it comes to Iari, he is wearing a Japanese version of Daredevil's outfit, but also his name means fury in Japanese. Now when it comes to Iari, we're left to believe that this is the main bad guy of this book or this entire series. And this is me telling you now, that is not technically true. But Iari is still a cool looking character, but a great opponent for Daredevil. Now here's the thing, because when it comes to Iari, he makes it seem like he was also part of that experiment as well. And so he was also able to gain the abilities of enhanced senses like Daredevil does. And so he has his own radar. And so when it comes to fighting against Matt Murdock, it does seem at first like a fair fight. But then you have Iari being able to take it up a notch to show Matt Murdock that, matter of fact, Matt is not the stronger person here. That Iari is. That Iari is a better fighter. And so as the fight goes on, you have Matt realize why Iari is able to get one over on him. And the reason why? Because Iari does have a radar sense. Iari was able to adapt to his enhanced senses, but he's not blind like Matt Murdock. See, Matt is blind, and Matt has no choice but to rely on his enhanced senses, on his radar. When it comes to Iari, he does not have to rely on it, but it does help him out. It makes him an even better fighter. And so, with that being said, Iari is able to do a lot of damage to Matt Murdock. Now, this is not Iari saying, hey, I'm going to kill you off here and now. No, it's Iari saying, listen, I want to show you that sooner or later you're going to die. The thing is, you're not going to know when, but we're going to make sure that we do ruin every single part of your life before we are able to kill you off. And so just know, after this beatdown, we're in the shadows, we're watching you, and sooner or later, Matt Murdock, you are going to die. Now, as we jump into the 5th chapter, we do pick up with Iari meeting up with the man who's trapped inside this metal cage, and also our mysterious woman in the shadows as well, to kind of show us that these 3 characters are currently working together, but at the same time, we still have no idea who the other 2 are. But it seems like these 2 are very excited with what Iari has done so far to Daredevil, because they're getting very close to finishing off their plans, which means Daredevil might die very soon, but also the people around Daredevil as well. But getting back over to Matt Murdock, this begins the process of our mysterious group of characters beginning to torture Matt Murdock in different kinds of ways. And what I mean by that is, while you have Matt Murdock go back to the office after being beat down by Iari, he begins to fix himself up, but then he realized that he has an interview. Now here's the thing though, this interview wasn't planned, but Matt Murdock doesn't remember that, because right now he's freaking out about Iari and the people around him who could possibly get hurt. But either way, he does let the guy come in for the interview for the job supposedly. But the guy who's doing the interview, or the one who's interviewing, he begins to kind of act weird, completely strange, to the point where it seems like he's very nervous. And so you have Matt believe this guy is possibly working for, well, Iari. And so you have Matt Murdock freak out to the point where he scared the guy away. Now, once Matt realized that he overreacted, he tries to catch up to the guy to say, you know what, sir, I'm sorry I freaked out. It's been a long day. You may come back in. Except as soon as the elevator door closes, the guy says, oh yeah, I am working for Iari, to show that now they're going to torture Matt Murdock in different kinds of ways. And so yeah, Matt was right to overreact, but at the same time, it's him now questioning himself now. This begins the process of our mysterious group trying to play mind games on Matt Murdock. But after that, you did have Matt get a call from somebody at the hospital to tell him that they've been trying to reach him to say, hey, we are about to begin Foggy Nelson's treatment. Do you want to be here? And Matt realized that he is about to be late. And so you have Matt try to rush over to the hospital. Now, while doing that, you have Iari just appear here and there as a way to torture Matt Murdock, because this man was badly beaten by Iari in the last chapter. But on top of that, though, is now Matt Murdock kind of freaking out and wondering if Iari might go after different people who are close to him, but at the same time, could be just torturing him in his own kind of way. Either way, you have Matt try to rush over to the hospital to be there for Foggy. Now, as soon as Matt arrives at the hospital, we see Matt go ahead and attack the nurse who was about to begin Foggy's cancer treatment. Now, the reason why Matt did that, because he believes that this guy could also be working alongside with Iari, but also working for our mysterious bad guy that is trying to get revenge on Matt Murdock. But once Matt realized that he is overreacting and he calms down, he's all like, okay, you know what? Listen, Foggy, all of this is going on right now. I feel like some mysterious bad guy is trying to get revenge against me, but I have no idea who it is. And so because of that, I'm freaking out left and right. And that is why I attacked your nurse. And so you have Foggy and Matt sit down and begin the process of trying to think, who could it possibly be? And once you have our two characters realize who could it be, they can't believe that person is still alive. Now, here's the thing, though. This person died back in Shadowland, and that right there should tell you who it could possibly be. Either way, you have Matt say, you know what? I have to lose Iari so that I'll be able to follow him and then hopefully find out where he's coming out of. Like, what building does he work out of? Because once I figure that out, then I'll be able to see if the person I believe is alive is actually alive. But then you have Hank Pym being able to help out Matt Murdock a lot. And what I mean by that is Hank Pym has been studying the different chemicals or different materials that was used to make the chemical that was used in the project earlier when it came to somebody trying to recreate Matt Murdock's big incident. Of course, the moment where he gained his abilities. Now, after Hank was able to study all the different kinds of materials, he realized that somebody has been ordering this different materials but to one particular building. And so because of that, that tells Matt that his mysterious group of bad guys is working, well, from that one particular building. And so you have Matt being able to lose Iari, who is kind of watching over Matt Murdock, so that he'll be able to get a surprise attack on this mysterious character who is trying to get revenge on Matt Murdock. Now, once you have Matt Murdock being able to arrive at the building, well, that is the moment we come to find out who is our mysterious woman. It is Lady Bullseye. Now, when it comes to Lady Bullseye, she was this character who was really in love with Bullseye. And what I mean by that is, in the past, she was technically trapped as a slave for a Yakuza group, but she was saved by Bullseye. Now, when it came to being saved by Bullseye, she watched him how he killed every single member of that Yakuza group. But after watching that, she fell in love in the way of Bullseye fighting style, how he was killing people. She became a huge fan of Bullseye. And so after that moment and being freed, she began the process of trying to train to be just like him. Now, with that being said, when she does see that Matt Murdock was able to get inside the building, she does try her best to take down Matt Murdock, but he was able to take her down. To kind of say that even though she did train to become like Bullseye, she's not on his level at all. But then this leads into the moment where we come to find out who is our mysterious character inside the cage. And so that is the moment we come to find out it is Bullseye. Bullseye is the one person who's currently right now trapped inside that cage. But the thing is, he should be dead because back in Shadowland #1, Matt Murdock stabbed him and we believe that he was actually dead, to only find out he's not dead. He survived that stab wound that Matt gave him back in Shadowland #1. Because remember, in Shadowland, Matt was technically evil. He was taken over by the beast, the demonic being the hand praises or worships in their own group right there. But after being taken over by the beast, he stabbed Bullseye right through the chest. But apparently, Bullseye survived. And so as we jump into the final chapter for today's video, we do pick up with Bullseye explaining how he's alive. And we kind of find out he was brought back to life. See, he did die in Shadowland by the hands of Daredevil. But because Lady Bullseye has connections to the hand, she was able to do a ritual to bring Bullseye back to life. Because remember, she looks up to Bullseye. And so because of that, she was able to come back to life, but unfortunately, he was paralyzed from the neck down. Now, Lady Bullseye was able to make this cage as a way to begin the process of repairing his body so that sooner or later we get old school Bullseye once again. And with all that being said, it's going to take a long time for his body to heal completely. And so with all that hatred, with all the time he has in the world of waiting, he realized he could use his time as a way to begin the process to bring down Daredevil, which he did. He's been planning this since Volume 1. So all the different characters we have been seeing, Claw, Coyote, and other characters, even Dr. Doom, or really just Latveria. But either way, everything we saw so far in Mark Waid's run has been leading up to this moment right here, where we come to find out Bullseye is the mastermind. But we also come to find out that Bullseye has assassins out there getting ready to kill off people who are close to Matt Murdock, like Kirsten or Foggy Nelson, or the people that work for Foggy and Matt. But here's the thing, because before Matt came here, he called in some favors. And those favors are different heroes who are very close to him to protect those people. So like Hank Pym, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Iron Fist. They're all there helping out to protect the people who are close to Matt Murdock. And so unfortunately for Bullseye plan, this is going to fall apart very quickly. Now, when it comes to Matt Murdock, he does begin to fight against Lady Bullseye and also Iari. Now, this is the moment where you have Matt Murdock tell us when it comes to Lady Bullseye, he doesn't look at her as an actual challenge. Matter of fact, he looks at Iari as an actual challenge, and he says he can take Lady Bullseye very easily. But with Iari being here, it becomes an actual challenge. And Lady Bullseye is kind of like an add-on piece for Iari to use as a way to take down Matt Murdock. Now, when it comes to their battle, it does end up on one level lower than the one they were on. And when they do arrive on that level, well, Matt comes to find out there were more containers containing that chemical that gave him his powers. The same chemicals that were used earlier in the storyline to give people powers very similar to Matt Murdock. Now, here's the thing though, because when it comes to Bullseye, he's still on the top level, but the ceiling collapsed. And so he falls through the floor into the bottom level. And when he does, he hit the containers that were containing the chemicals. And here's the thing, Bullseye can't move, but there is an eye socket in the metal cage that he's in right now. And with that eye socket being open, all the chemicals that just came out of containers fall through the eye socket onto his eyes. And so Bullseye, somebody who was already paralyzed from the neck down, has now just lost his ability to see. And that completely sucks a lot. Now, the story does wrap up very quickly. And what I mean by that is because the ceiling collapsed on Lady Bullseye and also Iari and Daredevil, Matt was able to get away. But Bullseye, Lady Bullseye, and also Iari, they were stuck under debris. And so when the police arrived, they were easily arrested and taken away. And really, the story kind of ends on that note right there, because once you have Matt being able to deal with Lady Bullseye, and Iari, he goes back to the hospital to make sure that Foggy is A-okay. And once he does that, it's him telling Foggy what happened. And really, the book ends on that note with the idea that Matt can continue to be happy, that Matt can continue to try to live a better life for once. And that is what Mark Waid's goal is when it comes to his entire run. The whole idea that Matt should try to live a better life. And so with that being said, this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.